Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Openshaw Shield Final day from Northern Tasmania Croquet Centre, St Leonards. Well, the United States, they got more than one hand on the trophy. They had an amazing day yesterday, taking 6 games to nil. 6 games to nil, and in a spot where the Egyptians, well, they need to find a miracle. The weather conditions is absolutely wet. It's wet. Not cold, just wet and windy. So it's going to be a miserable day. The game's coming up, so the singles. We're going to follow the singles this morning. We've got the doubles ready to follow as well, if we can. So the singles is Matthew Essick and Kaled Kamel. In the doubles match going on as well, it's Blake Fields and Ben Rothman taking on Mohamed Nasr and Mohamed Taha. So that should be a little spicy little match, that one. Also, we got down the far lawn, we had the battle for 7th and 8th, the relegation match. And that is between, I'll just bring that up, and I'll give you the scores update there. That is between the Ireland and Spain. And Ireland currently have 3 wins. Spain has 2 wins. So if this finishes early, we've got a new stream to rock and roll to bring in that clash between Ireland and Spain to see who gets relegated. So it's still very close in that battle. In the 3rd and 4th battle between Australia and New Zealand. Australia have 3 wins, New Zealand have 2 wins. England, they've already claimed 5th and 6th. They had a 5-0 victory over South Africa. And I've got coming on the commentary, David Clark. Morning.
Hi, it's Chris.
How are you this morning?
Yeah, so we're 6-0 in the Egypt match, and if it wasn't bad enough being 6-0, it's rained, and it's still raining reasonably heavily. So for the last few hours, be great for the lawns. There were some really fast patches on lawns 1 and 2 yesterday, in excess of 16 seconds in patches. So the lawns will certainly benefit from the rain. I don't think the Egyptians are going to be benefiting. They're not used to playing in rain. And one thing I should say is it's really, really warm here. It's still 20 degrees at 8 o'clock in the morning, and it's raining. So very sort of muggy, humid weather, subtropical, and the only reason the players have got their jackets on is to protect them from the rain. It's nothing to do with warmth. This morning we're going to be focusing on the Matthew Essick against Kaled Kamel match, and I can't see Kaled winning that if Matthew plays anything like he did in that 3rd game yesterday against Mohamed. Really, really high quality match. Hoop 11 was contested for a long time, and probably over 100 yards worth of hit-ins at Hoop 11. And I think Matthew's been the strongest player on the American team, and it would probably be fitting if he were to get the 7th clinching win this morning. So I'm joined this morning by Nelson Morrow, the New Zealand manager. Welcome, Nelson.
Thanks, Chris. Good morning to you. A little bit wet morning this morning.
So elsewhere, the other match that's going to be taking place is a doubles, and it's Ben Rothman and Blake Fields against Mohamed Nasr, and I'm trying to see who Mohamed's playing with.
Blake Fields, I believe.
Yeah, who's Mohamed playing with?
Oh, sorry.
Mohamed's playing with Mohamed.
Okay, so Mido.
Oh, sorry. Sorry.
So, no, that is a match which I think the Egyptians could win. Mohamed's been good this tournament. He's played well. And Mido has also been good. I think people may look back at this event and look at the final only and say, well, were the Egyptians playing poorly? And my view is this is the strongest performance by an Egyptian team outside of Egypt that I've ever seen. And they didn't play badly yesterday. The Americans simply played better. And I think that applies to all 4 of their players. So really good performance by America. They've been incredibly aggressive. They've taken on a lot of long hoops.
Absolutely.
Tom Balding in particular it has seemed to that's his mantra. He just wants to get a ball anywhere in front of a hoop and then go for it. People like Ben are a bit more balanced, and they try and create opportunities gradually.
No, Ben, I mean, for players, not Ben, Tom, for players, it's quite demoralising. They think, I've got a chance here, and then he'll pull out a shot from nowhere and run a hoop. So, and he's done it against a lot, not only against the Egyptians, he's done it against the New Zealanders. So he's been quite amazing, really.
Yeah, very strong performance. Tactically unsound from my perspective, but physically very, very strong. These conditions haven't been trivial anyway. These hoops have been challenging, haven't they?
Absolutely.
So to run a lot of 7-yard hoops and longer, as Tom has done, is a very impressive performance. So I say we're going to start off, I think, on the singles lawn rather than the doubles lawn.
Okay.
So that's lawn 5. The slopes this morning, the hills we've been talking about, are going to be much less because the lawns are slower. We're just going to have a quick run through of our sponsors and event partners.
So I'd like to just do a big shout out to our event partners: PFC Hoop Winner Mallets, Super Turf, Line Marking Systems, Events Tasmania, City of Launceston, and of course Croquet Tasmania, and especially a shout out to all the volunteers and the people that have been running it. Elaine Hazel, Peter Free, Sylvia Wing, Liz Fleming have done an amazing job. So well done to them. Big days. They're here at 6:30 in the morning. They're not going home till after 7 at night. So hats off to them.
Yeah, I know Peter's been sort of available 17 hours a day, and it is a long 7 days for the manager. So many thanks to Peter. One of the things I think we should mention are the scorers.
Yep.
It's not the easiest job in the world to sit outside in the sun for 5 hours at a stretch, and they've done a good job on the whole. So it's been very useful to have that. Excellent scoring boards, aren't they, Nelson? You can see them from a long way away.
Yeah. I mean, they moved 1 or 2 of them after the first couple of days because they weren't quite in the right place, but now they're much easier to see. A little question here from one of the people. Yes, the US have to win 1 more match to take the Shield. Whether they continue is probably up.
Just jump in there. So once if this game's decided with the singles or the doubles, either one finishes first, and the singles game we're doing, that's won by the US, we will be going to a new stream for the relegation, and we'll follow that for the rest of the day.
Yeah, and that's really quite balanced, isn't it? 3 wins to Ireland, 2 wins to Spain,
it's a bit
and first to 5 stays in.
Yeah. Also, the New Zealand Australian one is also finely balanced, with Australia leading 3-2, and that is for the bronze medal. So there's two matches still very evenly balanced.
Absolutely. So plenty of play to watch today. We've started the doubles. So how are they getting on in the singles? They're in corner 4. Looks like they're going to be starting fairly soon, I think. But yeah, it's still quite overcast.
Yep.
Quite heavy cloud cover, and this is heavy rain.
Yeah, but it's supposed to sort of, I think, ease within the next hour. It's not supposed to continue all day, so let's hope that's what happens.
So you can probably see we're just on the doubles lawn there at the moment. Let's have a quick look. They're still practicing over on the singles lawn.
You can also see how much greener the lawns are, even just with that little bit of rain. It's amazing.
Yeah, and they were genuinely fast for the last couple of days, particularly lawns 1, 2 and 8. Okay. And Liz Fleming, our tournament referee, just letting us know that she's put a couple of ball boys on the lawn, as well as a referee. And we've had a few little niggles this tournament, particularly between the Australians, Americans as one side and the Egyptians on the other. And I think what we need to be very careful about is there are different cultures, and just to give two examples, the Americans have been very unhappy with the Egyptians not putting their ball on the lawn straight away, and we need to understand that naturally they're used to ball boys.
Absolutely. I mean,
so they're not used to doing that.
We've both been in Egypt, and we've encountered having ball boys. They don't have to do that. No.
Yeah. The Egyptians, on the other hand, were very unhappy with Blake Fields doing a little dance on the lawn after he'd won. And if you watch American sports, and even English sports, these professional football players, American football, they always go and do a little dance in the end zone. And that's the American culture. So there needs to be an understanding that what happens in your country isn't necessarily what happens in another.
No.
And it works both ways. We need to embrace the fact that we've got a multicultural game here, a multicultural sport that actually is played in different countries around the world with different cultures, and I think it's very positive. So just a little bit more understanding from everyone that that's the case would be a good thing.
Absolutely. I mean, I think there's been a trend more recently with the changes of some of the laws that players don't go and put their balls back on immediately. It's not only the Egyptians, it's become a little bit more common to do that, and I do think it's a bad thing. I think the ball should be put back on the lawn by the person who has basically hit it. If they are, I mean, obviously if the opponent is close by and can do it, fine, but it is your responsibility as the striker to put that ball back on the lawn in the place where it went off. And
yeah, I mean, I think it'd be interesting to try and get a little bit more clarification on that. There's an argument to say that each player should be responsible for their own ball. So when you're clearing power clearing, you go and put your ball on, and your opponent goes and puts their ball on.
Yep.
Because you can't accurately watch where both balls go off as a striker. So I think that as a sort of clarification from the WCF over the next coming months would be a positive to the sport.
But I still think if you've struck a ball basically in your ball estate on the lawn and the opponent ball goes way off the lawn,
you go and get it.
I think it's a striker's responsibility to go and get it and put it back on the lawn.
I think now you're right. I'm sort of questioning whether that is going to be the long-term answer, or is it going to be each person responsible for their own ball? Only time will tell, and we need to talk to the players. It's not for people like me who don't play at the top level anymore. It's for the people who are actually playing the game. What do they think should be happening?
Well, the guys are into it.
Right, okay.
So, running by once again, this is Matthew Essick, who I believe has been the best US player, against Kaled Kamel. And they're on lawn 5. Matthew's won the toss, playing black and blue, and he's played a pretty decent shot in, I think, with the blue, and red blocked yellow's shot at it. So immediate advantage to Matthew to just be able to take on a fairly straightforward 5-foot hoop 1. And you'll see he's playing this Solomon grip. This is his hitting it firmly grip.
What I like about Matthew is he's an all-round player. He's just not. I don't know, to use the expression, not a one-trick pony. He really has. He can do all the things that are necessary in the game in terms of long hooping, controlled clearances, long clearances. He's much more. He's got so much more ability than some of the other players.
Yeah, great jump shots, great touch.
Absolutely.
He can do all the big shots, and he can do the little ones well.
Yeah.
So failed the hoop, and very interesting. Despite the fact we've had all that overnight rain, the Blues bounced back 4 feet.
Mm-hmm.
So it shows that there's still some testiness in the hoops.
Yeah, and rigidity, absolutely.
So Kaled couldn't clear black very far, so Matthew's got a 7-yarder back in. That's an Irish grip medium pace takeout, and Kaled will be trying to clear blue, moving yellow a little bit further south. Be handy to keep it in hoop running position, because then red's in hoop running position and he should be able to get some sort of a shot. He could power clear it on the left-hand side to come down towards corner 1 with yellow. And then I think blue wouldn't bother clearing the red, but clearing it in the middle, I think Matthew will now try and clear the red on the right-hand side and take the south boundary for himself. Definitely something to be said for playing that last clearance not hard. Not giving Matthew the angle that he's now got to clear the red. And your viewers will be able to see little rain spots. So he's hit that on the wrong side, and he didn't go for the power clearance. And it'll be interesting now to see whether red clears blue or views this as a free go at the hoop. So this is just playing into position. I think in this position, none of the American team would have done that. They would either have gone for the hoop or cleared the ball that's just played, the blue. And I think that's one of the differences. Matthew here trying to get both these balls in front of the hoop and trying to make sure that yellow can't clear the blue very far. That's a good protection of the blue. Kaled can't move that very far, and the natural thing he'll do here is nudge in to try and block in between blue and the hoop. He could play the snuggle, which should be a little bit easier this morning with the lawns.
A bit more hold on them, yeah.
So that's what he's tried to do. It looks good. It's not a snuggle,
no,
but it's got a block. I think Matthew just about has enough room to get over the top of it. So just a little hop over the edge of yellow. Oh, he could hit it.
Yes, but he actually missed it.
So clearly that yellow having some psychological impact.
Yeah. Do you think the Egyptians' game has changed in the last few years from what it was when we say, if you go back perhaps 8 years ago to the second Openshaw Shield?
There's a lot more clearing of the balls into the short transition. So 4 to 5 and 10 to 11. It used to be the Egyptians would put a ball in, the opponent would put a ball in, and the Egyptians would put their second ball in, trying to block the clearance. Now they're straight away going second ball, so the third ball into the hoop in total. They're clearing that immediately. That's what I coach whenever I'm dealing with any strong GC player. That third ball has to clear. And for that reason, we're wanting now to put the second ball as close to the first ball as we can to say, well, look, if you clear this, you might clear your own ball as well.
Well, yeah.
And then occasionally a little bit more, particularly of the younger players, are taking 2 shots at balls in good hoop running position.
Yeah.
Rather than always playing the first ball in. So little bits of changes. I do think it's important to think about the ranking system. So at the moment, I believe the top-ranked Egyptian player is Ahmed El Mahdi.
Yeah, but they have their own ranking system within Egypt.
They do,
and purely that. I was out talking to one of the Egyptians, and he explained that these are the top 5 Egyptian players in the Egyptian ranking system.
Yeah, so that's based upon inter-club games that they play in the evenings, and it's a mixed team, men and women.
And it doesn't take into account any international matches,
no,
all games.
So the world rankings, the top ranked player is Ahmed El Mahdi, and he's one of the few players that uses what I'm going to call modern technology. So he's got about a 12-inch mallet instead of this 9-inch mallet that is generally in use. I think Kaled has actually got a 10-inch, so he's a little bit unusual.
And also El Mahdi, his hands stay where they started with on the mallet. They don't drop down. He's got a sort of a cupped action, so his mallet goes through sort of the middle of his fingers, and so it's a very very rhythmical, very very balanced sort of swing.
Again, going back to yesterday's really good match between Mohamed, Nasr and Matthew, if you watch that again, you'll find Matthew misses quite a lot of shots in the first game, and he's already missed 3 shots this game, and he didn't miss 3 in the entire third game. So
2-0 to Egypt. Yep.
And this is what you're wanting to see as the doubles pair on the other lawn. You want to see the singles player get ahead, and really, from the Egyptian point of view, they'll be thinking about one thing, which is getting the match to 6-2. Once they've got it to 6-2, then you start putting some mental pressure.
Yep.
Who's going to be the American who gets over the line?
Yeah.
And my view is it's going to be Matthew. I don't care he's 2-0 down. He will gradually get better as this match continues.
Yeah.
Players struggling to play this uphill approach to hoop 3. We've had the rain, both blue and red, significantly short, non-runners, and Matthew's now adjusted and got that black nicely in front.
Yeah. You saw Matthew yesterday get better as his match went on.
Absolutely. So snuggle, I think, here rather than hard clearance.
See,
not sure he's got that.
See Felix Webby and Ed Wilson in the background, playing for the Australian-New Zealand bronze medal. So how did he achieve that?
Blue seemed to hit red quite a long way, and I would have thought red's got something here.
Yep, no problem at all.
Has he managed to get red to run in on the blocking line? Looks open. So Matthew now back to his power Solomon grip. Be aiming on the right hand side of yellow.
Yeah, I mean he's probably the most effective player in the world who can change his grip. Yep,
double. So I'm not convinced Blue's a runner. Certainly really angled. And black doesn't look like it's gone off the lawn. So I think Kaled will be getting rid of the black, trying to get yellow to run forward a bit into hoop running position. That's what he's done.
Yep, got it in line with the hoop.
Nothing obvious for blue to do here. If he takes position, red will just get rid of it.
Absolutely.
There's an argument to say he should go on the boundary, so it can't be cleared. And
I don't think that's a good option, do you?
That is basically saying I want to try and force yellow to take the hoop on. Red's got a pretty straightforward clearance here, and black will just play into position afterwards. Nice shot, taking the correct side of blue there from Kaled, and Matthew will try and block yellow's hoop shot. The ability to run these 7-yard hoops has been one of the key differences between the Americans and the Egyptians.
Yeah.
And Kaled probably isn't even guaranteed to hit the middle of the wire.
Right.
They're more wild. It either goes dead straight or it misses by a ball or so.
Yeah.
And when you're taking on these, you need to hit at least the middle of the wire so you stay within a few feet of the hoop rather than going 10, 12 yards away.
Yeah.
It's for 3-0.
And that's exactly what you said. Yeah. Outside of the wire, so therefore yellow goes a long way from the hoop.
Yeah.
Yep.
I know I started playing again a little bit last year, and I was so frustrated by myself because I always used to think when I was playing properly that I'd hit the middle of the wire at worst there.
Yeah.
And, starting again after 5 years off is so bad. You get to position, you get your 7-yard hoop, and suddenly you've missed it completely. You feel an idiot. But yeah, Tom in particular has run a lot of those. Matthews run a lot of those. Blake's run a lot of those. Probably the weakest player in the American team has been Ben.
I think so too.
And he's still been okay.
Yeah, because Ben's got that sort of solidness, It's but I agree. I think he's been the weakest member of the team.
And I think most teams would be thrilled to have a weakest member who's played as well as Ben.
Absolutely. And that's why they're in this position, because basically they are strong at every level of the team ranking, from 1 to 4.
So tried to jaws from a very acute angle and just flicked off the near wire. So that'll give time for Kaled to get yellow back into play, and he'll be making sure it just finishes north of the hoop. If it goes off the boundary, it's not dreadful, but it has to be a runner. And the natural thing for these players this morning is to underhit everything.
Yeah, because their body memories and muscle memory is telling them that the lawns were quite fast. But of course now that has changed with the rain overnight, and there was quite a bit of lightning too. I don't know if you noticed the lightning, Chris.
No, I missed that.
Yeah, it was quite a bit of lightning as well.
Okay. So that's a good shot with yellow from the south boundary. Matthews failed to get the block.
Look.
Lots of options here. I think if red clears blue, black will expect to get the block.
Yeah.
Just an update in the doubles. The US are up 2-0.
Okay, thank you. So hello to Alison Morn. I'm sure I'm glad you're enjoying that glass of wine.
So Kaled getting rid of the blue. I think he'll hit this hard on the right hand side. No, he's going to play gently. And on the wrong side. Now possibly if he was playing a fellow American, Matthew might clear the yellow to the boundary. But the Egyptians have not been strong at long jump shots. And Kaled won't even want to take this on. But he may feel obliged to. No, he's just going to get rid of the blue.
Yeah, let's start the rotation again.
One of the things about the black is it is possible to go in-off if you're the red. So power clear the blue away. That's off the lawn, and he's hoping to flick. What do you think? Quarter ball, Nelson?
Yeah, quarter ball. Yep.
Right hand side of black.
You do need a bit of luck on those. There's no doubt about it.
And I thought that would have gone off the lawn at that pace. It does show the significantly.
Yeah. No, it certainly changed the pace of the lawns. A little bit of rain.
So good positional shot back with blue. Opposite side of the hoop to yellow. And is he going directly at the hoop, or is he going in off the black? I'd play in off the black.
Yes, I would too. I think that's what he tried for, but obviously he took too much ball, didn't he?
Yeah, and now the fact that blue's the opposite side of the hoop to yellow potentially allows black to play on a nice line to try and block yellow at blue.
Yep.
He's going shooting. That almost suggests he's going to shoot at yellow. I would. He has. No, he shot at red.
And that hasn't really helped him at all, has it?
So clearing red on the right-hand side would have been very strong. So it's a perfectly good choice of shot. He's not going to be worried about yellow taking the hoop on from there.
No.
And I think Kaled will be quite happy just to clear the blue. Probably just a little bit on the left-hand side. It's the wrong side again.
And see in the background, Felix and Ed Wilson are 3-all.
It should be quite a quick match. That
it should be.
That's very
well,
aggressive.
And Felix, you know, he doesn't. They're both players who don't hang about.
Yeah. I think one of the games yesterday had got to hoop 10 before hoop 2 was run in one of the other games. So very much different styles, and he's taking the hoop on here. Aggressive. He'll regard it as a free hoop because yellow can clear blue. So it's a free go, providing you hit middle of the wire or better.
Again, outside of the wire.
A better shot. He's only lost it by 7 or 8 yards this time.
But it wasn't that close to running the hoop, was it?
No. So advantage Matthew, you're going to get 2 balls in front here.
Sort of slightly important in terms of if Kaled could take a 3-0 lead in here, it would make a big deal of difference to the whole psychology of the game.
Yeah, and as I say, if one of these matches starts getting a big advantage to Egyptians, it just starts to put a little bit more pressure on the Americans. And you just got to take little steps each day.
Game at a time, hoop at a time.
So Matthew, he'll play in again.
Yep.
He's got a good, strong position here. Force Kaled to either
nice
keep
ball.
hitting or take on 7-yard hoops, and it's going to favour Matthew eventually. So it's not a long clearance, it's only about an 8-yarder. I think one of the relevant things is it has now stopped raining.
And the sky's got a little bit clearer, a little bit of light coming through, less dense cloud cover. He misses it.
Yeah, and it's that sort of mid-length shot that the association players do better. And I know Stephen Mullen is very keen on the fact that it's a very young game, and we've had young winning teams. That hasn't always been the case. I mean, Jenny and myself, when we were in our mid-40s, 9 years ago, the thing about every winning team, 16, 20, and this time, if we assume the Americans are going to win, they're all been good association croquet
Absolutely.
players.
Well, even the last Worlds, all semi-finalists were AC players.
So from my perspective, it's more important to be strong bicodal players than to be 20.
Yeah. Actually, I'm wrong. It was I was talking about 22. Actually, last time
Kamel
got to a bronze medal. Yeah. So anyway, but even so, the AC and GC combined players have certainly been dominating the latter stages of these events.
Yeah, and it's consistency over those mid-range shots.
Yeah.
That's the 4th miss Matthew's had, and he hasn't got to past hoop 3 yet. So Kaled, I think, will take the hoop on here. But perhaps Matthew missing might encourage him to take the clearance on. If he does clear it, it shouldn't be too hard. It should be a mid-pace clearance. I took the hoop on, I think, and missed everything.
That's what you were saying before,
I think Matthew's shown enough weakness at the start of this match that you could just have mid-pace cleared blue.
Alison's just saying, I consider mid-40s still young. It all just depends where you're standing, really, your perspective.
Yeah, and if we look at modern sports, and this is very similar to golf. Golfers can play to, positive handicaps in their 60s still. We've got one member at our club who's in their 70s and still plays to scratch.
We can just do an update on the Ireland and Spain games going on. Currently, it's 2-3 to Spain with between Williams and Denizot, and the other one is Ireland are up 3-2.
Okay, so it's still very balanced in those early stages of the relegation match.
Yeah, well, I'm 75 now, Chris, and I still feel I can play a reasonable game.
Yeah, and one of the things I notice is, whilst I can compete at the New Zealand Open doubles level, if you put me among these 8 players in the final, I'm going to get annihilated. They're all much better than me now. So you can certainly have a long career. We've had people play very well into their 60s. But the truth is, you're probably starting to get weaker by the time you're getting to your late 50s. And golf, they tend to say people are at their best in their 30s, rather than their best at their 20s. And I think the same applies to croquet. You do get more and more experience, and you need that experience.
Yep.
We've had Logan and Levi for your team in New Zealand have both played very well this event.
Yep.
But when it's come to hoop 12 and hoop 13 under pressure, they haven't played as well as they've done in the previous section of the match, and you do need experience to be able to put the matches away.
Yep.
And that only comes with the opportunity to play in these matches.
Absolutely. You need that experience.
So Matthew should really be the current AC World Champion, many people think. Had a big advantage against Robert in that final, but couldn't quite put it away against the very experienced multiple World Champion.
And he's missed again.
Yeah. So this is now a great opportunity for red to clear the black and get towards hoop 5. I think it'd be nice for the neutrals if Egypt could get these 2 wins.
Yeah.
And perhaps the Egyptians in the clubhouse would start getting behind their team a bit more. We're used to all the bravos. It's Helwa. I think Helwa's a good shot. It's nice to create a bit of an atmosphere.
Yep. No, it would be nice to keep this alive a little bit longer, really.
So 4-2, it looks like, to Ireland on one lawn, and 4-3 to Spain on the other. And he needs to run these.
Yep.
This is a sort of... You should be 9 out of 10 by this stage on this type of shot. Well done.
He's run it.
And very handily, only by 6 inches. So he's going to have a shorter clearance at hoop 5.
So 3-1 to Egypt.
It's a good shot.
Yep.
Kaled wants to play just past the blue into slightly straighter position.
He doesn't want to block it from yellow. No, he's gone in front.
I think that's not close enough. I think Matthew will clear now. I really want to threaten red hitting blue or black hitting blue, and I don't think it's sufficiently close to blue to really worry Matthew. He played his Irish grip, and he's just played a nice gentle clearance, and now he's clear favourite for the hoop.
Yeah.
4-2 in the doubles to US.
4-2, okay. 4-2 to the USA in the doubles.
So again here, instead of power clearing, which he would have done if red was in front, he's now gone mid-pace. And whilst he's cleared it, he's lost the yellow ball. You got to hit those 3/4 ball or better.
Yep. Your ball wants to stay around the hoop.
And here you do not want red to be able to clear the blue. So I'm going to play either wide from it or very deep, so red has to clear and go a long way away from the hoop itself.
Yep. I think a wide position here is a good tactic.
So he's left black a rush on blue in front, and Kaled will clear the blue here.
He wants to be able to, with this clearance, he wants to stay near the hoop.
But he doesn't want to leave black an easy clearance on red either.
No.
Otherwise Matthew will be the only person with a ball near the hoop. Ideally I'm wanting red to travel 4 yards east of the hoop here. That's a little bit too close, so black now will stop the red away. It can try and get wide position if he thinks that's easy. I think red being stopped away by the black's actually stronger. That's not really what I'm calling a good running position for black.
No, it's still quite angled, isn't it?
Yeah, so I would rather have both my balls close to the hoop and red and yellow a long way away, even though they're the wrong side of the hoop. And you've got to remember that if you play this stop shot well, black can potentially be rushed in front of the hoop by blue, which would be very strong.
So he's taken a sort of slightly deepish ball with yellow. So Matthew will be looking to stun red away and blue to stay in front.
I think it'll clear yellow.
You do?
Yeah, I do.
Yep, you're right.
It's a safer shot.
It's a safer shot. That's right. Because red and black are wired.
Kaled will play back in front of the hoop here. I'd like to be a runner there. I'd like to move that probably another 3 feet further south. Perhaps he's worried about this jump shot. This doesn't want to play a jump. If red gets in front and Matthew goes in the draws, he wanted to be able to take it out from the side. But actually Matthew's got further into the hoop than I thought he was going to be. And it's far from easy for red to take that out. So I'd either like red to be in a jumping position, which is 3 feet further south.
In an easier clearing position.
He's not going to be happy with this. You need to protect a 3-1 lead, and the last thing you want to do is let Matthew get a ball in a hoop where you haven't got an easy clearance.
And that also allows Matthew to get a nice ball at 6 as well. So 3-1 can easily turn to being 3-all.
And if he thought red had any real chance there, he'd have cleared red. So I don't think red's very likely to get rid of the black here. There's something to be said for stopping blue to a boundary, moving up level with the peg with red, and forcing black to run it. Just give the hoop away, but get your ball onside up towards the peg and blue away to a side boundary. So it's going to be 3-2, but you're not going to get as big an advantage as 6 as you thought you were. There
are times when you have to give away a hoop, but you make sure you're going to get the next one.
So this is a power thrash trying to move the black out the hoop. See how he gets on. So on the floor, and he's got it out, but it's still easy to run up to hoop 6. And for me, red down here compared to red at the peg is a massive change in who's going to win hoop 6. So I'd have conceded that hoop and got red in a better position, moving blue away.
Matthew hasn't got that far through the hoop, so it hasn't worked out as well as he may have hoped.
He does have the opportunity to rush black up the lawn with blue, and if this is a good yellow and it gets wired from black, I think that's what he'll do. So if it's open on black, he'll just take position.
Good association shot.
Move black up, and it's a really good shot.
Lovely shot.
So he'll try and run the hoop if black's still there. He won't bother clearing yellow. And now you can see the difference. If red was at the peg, red would just clear black. Red down here, you're well under 50%. No. A lot of the England team have been playing black at yellow with a stop shot here. I don't like it. I think it shows you not playing well. I just wanted you to walk up to it and run the hoop.
And it gives your opponent a different message, doesn't it?
Absolutely, yeah. They're going to get another shot. So he hasn't played a good shot yet. That's his first good hoop.
That's a very nice hoop.
So back to 3-all.
So real change in the game. And that's all. I think a lot of that is Kaled's decision making, really.
Yeah, and that's a really bad yellow. Going back to red, once he'd got it out of position and moved it down by hoop 1 before hoop 5, it keeps on being in a bad position. You miss, and suddenly it's a long way away from 7. You need your balls constantly in that under 10-yard range. Otherwise, your opponent's going to start dominating the match. Good shot with Matthew, nice and deep.
Short as well,
and that's a non-runner as well, I think. So he's gone from 3-1
to looking towards 3-4.
Yeah. try and clear the blue here, I think. You could try and clear black and blue, but that's really difficult. So just clear the blue, and I hope Matthew misses a 7-yarder.
Yeah, yep. Yellow's gone to a nice position.
Whether he's managed to cut the blue onto the blocking line, I doubt. I think it's still open on the red. And he doesn't need to take the clearance. He can just play back in.
Yeah.
And I think in game 3, you'd always shoot at red. You should be in really good nick by game 3. And the fact he's using Solomon grip indicates I think he is going to go all out for red. I'd play back in here. Game 1, 3-all. It's starting to go your way. He played it really well.
Played it well. So you see Ben in the foreground, obviously. Can't
5-4 to Island, you can see in the background. That's Mark with a 5-4 lead against, looks like 1, I think.
I think it's 1.
So, be good to start to get some hitting in this. It's been not a great quality match. As the players adjust to a much slower lawn. There we go, in the middle. That's a lovely shot. Keep running, Barrett. Keep running. Yep, that's made it off the boundary. So, very good shot. First sort of really top quality shot.
So, Felix is leading Ed Wilson 5-4. First game.
And I'm really surprised by that choice by Matthew. I'm just going to stun black away now. I would have gone 2 to 3 feet back from the hoop rather than 3 to 4 yards back from the hoop. If Kaled takes the hoop on, I'll be surprised. I think this is just a stun black.
Yeah, and it's done that very nicely.
And the concept here is eventually red and yellow are going to both be in front. Blue's going to be in front as well, and then black's going to have to clear yellow to a short boundary, allowing yellow to clear the blue away. So I would play off the boundary here with blue. And you can shoot at yellow freely as well. It's a free clearance. You want to be off the boundary, so why not shoot at yellow and try and move it? So that's a good choice. But he is going to be 2 balls down soon. Don't want to put red too close to yellow because you'll leave a double clearance. That's a really good shot. That's improved his position at the hoop, and yellow will be the one that gets rid of. So just updating the relegation match. Nicholas Denizo has taken the first against Simon Williams 7-4. So a little bit of a fight back from Spain. 3-2 down overnight, and just 4 matches left to play. They need to win 3 out of the 4.
All singles, aren't they?
All singles, yeah. 1v1, 2v2,
Yep.
etc.
Yep.
Still a nice position this for Kaled. He's got the opportunity to now to play yellow into hoop running position in between blue and red. And Matthew will be in all sorts of trouble if he gets that right. That's too far. Nicely in front, which is good, but not blocking blue at red. I think what Matthew's going to be wanting to try and get out of this is move red here, hope red doesn't play blocking black from the hoop, and then take the hoop on with black is his best chance.
Yeah.
US in the doubles.
6-4 in the first game to the USA.
So, good shot, and interestingly, blue's gone right down to hoop 8. So this is a monster opportunity for black to run 7 and have blue onside at 8.
Yes, no, we haven't got the hoop yet.
Okay.
No.
Just come down.
So wants to try and block black's hoop, and even if he does, I think Matthew will take the jump shot on. Oh, he's playing. Oh, wow. That is surprising. Is that saying, I don't want to put another ball up there? Maybe Matthew might clear yellow if I don't. Or is he saying, well, he's always going for the hoop because of how good blue is? And what's the point of putting red up there? Yellow's going to run it if black doesn't. Quite intelligent ball location there. Matthew is always going to take this on, isn't he? Super shot.
Yep, yeah. And as you were saying earlier, that's what the Americans have been very good at. At least 3 of them have been very good at running those sort of shots.
No, I hadn't thought that line through quite as well as Kaled had. That is a good position for red. Blue's going to nudge in front here. Wants to block red's hoop shot. Black's all over the yellow. It can snuggle up behind it. It can clear it to potentially wired. That's just careless, I think. It's left double, hasn't it?
Looks a bit like it. Is it?
No, quite a long way away, really.
Missed the hoop altogether.
Yeah. So I prefer the snuggle here. It's easier to get than rushing yellow to wide from blue.
Yep. I must admit, it's one of the shots I really do like, especially on a lawn like it's got a bit of hold on it like this.
Yeah,
and it's easy to play, and you're basically just trickling that into the back of the ball. It's not you don't have to think about angles or anything. It's just a little bit of weight.
And touch play was always your strength, Nelson, as well. So yeah, it's playing to your own strength. The only negative to that is that yellow can play off
but to get over to hoop 9.
Yeah. I don't think Matthew's going to just jaws this or go wide from red.
No.
But it is an option. But to take a 5-3 lead, I think he'll take the hoop.
Absolutely.
So 7-4, first game of the doubles to America. So they're now 1 game win away from becoming world champions. So if that does get to a stage where they're on 6 points, I think we'll swap over at that stage.
Yep, yes.
But we're a little way away from that yet.
Let the I think Tom Balding will come in. Obviously, it would be good to have an American voice at that time.
But yeah, every chance for Egypt to come back in that. And Matthew's starting to force his way towards winning the first game here. Doubles always tends to be a bit slower, but that was a very fast game.
It was a very fast game. It really is. Way less than an hour. I mean, probably only maximum 50 minutes anyway. I mean, some of these double matches have been the long matches. Some getting in the 4 or 5 hour range.
Yeah, and rather than it being due to discussion, it's being due to a lower standard of play. Not taking on as many hoops, doing more clearing.
Yeah, and because obviously you don't get as many shots, therefore I don't think you get it as well into your rhythm often in doubles, as you do in singles.
And one of the things I always tell players to watch when they're watching the Egyptians is when they're 5-3 down, instead of taking 2.5 yard position at 9, they go and try and get 3 foot position at 9 because they know they want to get up to hoop 10 to equalise at 5 all. So red's not a runner, but it's all over black, so they've now got a second chance, and yellow's very, very close here. It should get position.
I thought Matthew would have gone a bit deeper than that.
Absolutely. You'd expect that to be 3 to 4 yards further further south. I don't think he'll try and nudge red forward. He just needs to take good position, not blocking red.
Yep.
That's a good shot.
Yep.
Nicely in front.
Yep.
And blue needs to move that yellow.
So here's Matthew trying to clear the yellow.
Good shot.
Yep, yep. Cleared it well.
And Ireland's gone 7-4. Mark Stevens has beaten Juan 7-4. So that's a game each to Ireland and Spain. Retains the very, very tight test match position. Remembering the loser of that doesn't get to play in this event for 8 more years as a minimum.
Yep. Yeah, it'd be a great shame for Spain. They only came up the last time, and to go back down again, I think will be a real disappointment to them.
Yeah, and I think it's important to say that countries and players need to respect this event. Lots of the players here are giving up time away from self-employed work, young families, and it is effectively over 2 weeks away, isn't it? Once you've done your practice and your flights, it's a 2-week commitment.
Especially if you're coming from the other side of the world. Perhaps if you're more local, it's not quite so long. But certainly for those coming from the other side of the world, you need a couple of days at least to readjust to the jet lag, etc.
Yeah, so 7 of the teams have put out representative teams of their overall strength.
Yeah, and Spain didn't.
And Spain haven't, He's missed that. Okay, so chance to develop a position here. Red needs to come in, definitely blocking the hoop.
Yep.
If he can block part of yellow as well, that's a bonus. And if he gets the block on the hoop, I think there's a chance we'll see the jump shot rather than the multiple clearances. So he's unhappy with that. It started raining again. Matthew has got his Solomon grip out. I think the hoop's open. I think this is a hoop shot. Yep, definitely open on the hoop. Blocked on yellow. Free attempt, 6-3 if he gets this.
Yep, in these situations you always want to block the hoop, not the ball.
Yeah,
and that's
super shot.
There's a beautiful shot. You must admit, that is just, it's real class.
And yellow's hampered from getting to 10.
Yep.
It's probably a game winner.
Yep. Always block the hoop, don't block the ball.
Oh, it's played that well.
Yep. Yeah, with the hampered situation he had, he's actually got it up very nicely towards hoop 10.
But that's hoop 7 and hoop 9, both from the boundary.
Yep. Matthew, you can see him just growing in confidence there.
Yeah. He doesn't get put off. He knows he's not perfect all the time.
No.
He can afford for the first 3 or 4 hoops to just be not quite as good, and then he can accelerate when he needs it.
Yep.
And I was always coaching people to just play cautiously and conservatively for the first 6 hoops of a best-of-3 match. See if your opponent's weak. Let them actually take some long hoops on.
Yep.
And the easiest way to win is to allow your opponent to play badly. If you get to hoop 6 and they've played well, then you've still got the chance just to up your own game.
Yep. I see in the background, I think Felix has lost that first game to Ed Wilson.
Yep.
Almost. He nearly got an in off there.
So you want to stun blue away here, getting wide from the blue.
Yep.
So all about back ball control.
Yep.
Oh, is he taking the hoop on? I'd be surprised it's not a great red he's got. No, it's the hoop, I think. Fairly good effort. Put it more or less at the middle, but not quite.
I don't think Matthew will miss this one.
Remember, he was 3-1 down, wasn't he, Nelson? He's looking like winning 6 consecutive hoops here. Game one.
Game one. Wow. Who would have thought? His whole game just changed at 3-1, and he just won 6 hoops in a row. I mean, tremendous effort. I think that's going to be a real nail in the coffin for the Egyptians.
This is the match I expected would be the clinching match.
Yeah.
So they've started the doubles second game.
Yep.
So there's still a chance for the doubles to be the one that wins. I think there's every chance that Mido and Mohamed are going to come back and win that second game. Right. I don't think there's a lot between those two doubles pairs.
Perhaps should go and get Tom. I think he'd like to be on the commentary perhaps for this second game, and I'll leave you alone for the moment, Chris, and go and speak to Tom.
Okay, thanks for your time, Nelson.
And good commentating with you.
So we'll just watch a little bit of this doubles. Ben's already cleared the yellow with black from corner 4, and Blake's played the perfect clearance there on half ball on the right. So whilst Egypt have got the advantage at hoop 1 still, I think Blake will eventually take the hoop on from the boundary, and so they have been very, very good at it. Just as good really as the Egyptians in Cairo, who are very good at that shot. Welcome, Tom.
What's up, everybody?
Yeah, well, you must be happy with this start.
I'm beaming.
Yeah. So it's great to be sat out watching your team members win, so you don't have to go out.
I want to go out.
At 6-2.
Nah, I really want to play. We all were. So last night, Matthew was like, Matthew plays very quickly, so Matthew's like, Ben and Blake, you better race me to see who can win the match first. He's just like, 'cause I'm going to be sprinting.
Very
nice
good,
shot.
but not good enough.
Too good.
A little bit unlucky. He's left that yellow ball in runnable position. So chance for the Egyptians to get one up. I think they've got a chance of winning this second game. Mohamed's been in pretty good nick overall, and Mido's played absolutely fine. So the other game just having a little break after the first game.
Matthew with a very good comeback there.
6 hoops in a row. Very good. So 1-0 to Egypt, despite the Americans hitting all of their clearances at hoop 1.
Ben has looked locked in this game. Center ball and everything, just about from within 10 yards.
It's one of the great things to see during any World Golf Croquet Championship. You get players who start off playing well, but eventually you get to the quarters and the semis and the final, and the players who are in that are in a different league, aren't they? They've upped their game another couple of levels by that stage.
Yeah, by that point everybody's gotten to swing the mallet so many times, it's starting to feel very natural, and you've had a little luck obviously to get to a point like that. Everyone does, but it definitely shows who day in and day out is putting up the best performances. So luck can only get you so far.
Yeah, no, I mean, this has been a great performance by the Egyptians.
He's left the hoop open.
I think Mohamed will try and clear the blue still.
Yeah, that's well within Blake's range. He's
got that lovely shot.
Good shot.
Super shot. And that's what I'm saying. The Egyptians may go home, and some of the Egyptians may say, well, you didn't do very well in that final. I think they've played as well as any other Egyptian team outside of Egypt I've ever seen. And they're 6-0 down. And it's testament to the play of the American team.
This has been a very good week for us. I think for the first time, we've talked about this a couple of times, I think for the first time in a long time, we feel that the entire team is playing well simultaneously. We have a lot of good synergy together. Oh, that's a great shot.
That's a super shot.
Obviously, having the 3 most recent world champions on your roster is always helpful.
It is, and I can't think of that happening before. Well, Robertson, maybe we had a period in the early 90s, England. But no, this is the first obvious time to me that you've had 3 consecutive world champions. We had Fulford and Walters in 93, but no other one. So no, I can't think of another example, even with association croquet with a slightly longer history than GC.
Yeah.
And it is really very, very impressive. I mentioned earlier that you've been running hoops from absolutely anywhere.
Mostly because I can't set up properly.
Well, I wasn't going to be quite that harsh on you, but
you get what you deserve. You learn how to run hoops from long distances when you can't get in front of them.
Yeah.
So I was getting we were watching some of the live streams back, and Matthew last night was like, "Tom, I truly don't know how you won that match with some of these setups." And I was like, "Oh, thanks."
In many ways, it's quite exciting for the rest of us to say, well, look, if you actually get a little bit better at that element, how difficult is Tom going to be to beat?
Working on it. My touch has been, some of these courts I've been really good on touch, but it's the switch, I sometimes forget that the left half hill a different way.
Correct.
So, and then I'm pretty good on the side to side, but like west to east, but for some reason going up and down the length of the court, I just haven't gotten a feel for it at all.
Okay.
So it's just like I'll be 10 feet short going this way and 20 feet long going the other way, and I'm like, I got nothing.
So good chance for Mido here. 7-yard clearance. He can get red over towards hoop 3 as well, if he just nails it hard in the middle or just off centre. No.
Narrow
good
miss.
Opportunity there.
Thank you, Allison. Very kind.
You'd expect that to be hit 9 times out of 10. It may be only occasionally 1/8 ball and move it away, but not missed completely. So good chance now to equalise for America. And the Egyptians are going to have to hit pretty much all of those for the rest of the day if they're going to want to be competitive.
Yeah, I don't see the way Ben and Blake are playing right now. There's not going to be a whole lot of opportunities given. No second chances. There's a lot of determination in our side of the camp.
Yeah, just about ran that.
The best performance I think Ben said America's ever had in this event was 4th.
Yeah,
I think we lost by a hoop to New Zealand in the semis, and then lost the 3rd place match, I think is how it went.
Yeah, so England, I think, generally come 3rd in these events. And what I said beforehand was most of the people I've been speaking to mirrored my opinion that this time the strongest 2 teams were likely to be Australia and America. Big surprise, really, because it's been New Zealand and Egypt who played every final, but most people fancied Australia at home with the world number 1, with Greg and Ed appearing to be in good form in their invitation events, to be a little bit stronger than Egypt, and I think Egypt's done really well to beat Australia. On the other hand, you've just gone from strength to strength.
Yeah, it's been most of our team have had a very good past year. Most of us we were pretty happy with Blake was obviously happy with his performance at the World Championship, but most of us were pretty happy with how that went, and we've been getting some extra opportunities to play against one another in preparation for this. So we've definitely had a good preparation period leading up to this. Yeah,
one of the things that helps the Egyptians is having a very high overall power of depth. So they're playing their interclub and they're getting a lot of good, strong games. Apologies for people trying to keep up with it at home. Croquet scores is currently down. I know Tim will be trying to get that up and running.
In the doubles first round. I'm just going to change the score, whatever. 7, 3, 4.
Good opportunity there from Mohamed, and he went with it at his normal power. Just hit it straight into the far wire. It hasn't gone through. They're still favourites, but I think Blue's going to probably fancy a jump shot here.
he's had a couple of good ones already this game. Not from this length necessarily, but I think the one at hoop 9 was fairly close.
He's chatting it through it with his partner. He's definitely going to be having a go at something, whether it's yellow on the ground or whether it's the jump shot.
Oh, left hand
jump.
post. Close.
It's quite difficult to hit the ball that hard to have that flatter jump shot on. And I think it shows the, I'm going to call it club head speed, that Blake manages to generate. So very fast mallet head speed.
I think Blake hits it harder than anyone in the world right now, just from the shots I've seen. I mean, the amount of power he can get when he really wants to is just unbelievable.
Yeah, I remember going to America in the early 90s, and they had a laser gun, which was quite sort of new at the time, and it measured the ball speed. I think Ahmed Nasr had 42 miles per hour.
I had heard some stories about that, and Sharif in his prime hit it pretty hard. And for a while, I think Edmund, when he was really cranking on the ball, had the hardest hit, but I haven't seen anything measured in quite some time.
Yeah, I mean,
It'd be interesting.
I've always thought the Nas brothers just had the edge.
Oh, good shot.
I've
We're
seen.
going to stay with the doubles too. We'll just stay with the doubles.
Oh, okay, we're going to
Excellent.
stay on this match. Okay, so that's quite handy. Obviously, the
Doesn't quite get the block. So,
Blake can now try and get rid of red.
yeah. Black's not terribly far away.
Wrong ball.
Oh.
Another chance for the Egyptians. I think the score's wrong. I think Egypt ran hoop 1. So
Yeah,
I think it's 1 all.
It's
What's
1
1
all.
all, is it?
Yeah, it's 1
The
all.
colours are right away. They're right as well.
Yeah, colours are fine. Just 1 all. And Mido now with a 2-yard straight hoop 3. And I really want to see players running this to have a chance of getting in front of hoop 4. These straight hoops, you've just got to hit it at a nice pace and they'll go through. No need to whack it off the south boundary. You can see in the background a little bit of wind coming up now, so that'll be another distraction.
Very different from the conditions we had yesterday.
Oh,
Polar opposite.
I had to go home during the afternoon. It's too hot.
Yeah, it was starting to get a little oppressive out there. Poor Ben had to endure it all through the afternoon.
Yeah.
We couldn't even. We were all sitting on the veranda, just sort of melting. We had a hard time even keeping the cheering up.
So 2-1 to Egypt. He's run it off the south boundary. Ben now has an opportunity to play into wired position. Yeah, good length. I think it's open though. And I've been mentioning during the tournament how good a positional player I think Mohamed Nasr is. It's often underrated, but to take 2-yard straight position at hoop 4 from the north boundary, very good. And this blue's coming in. It's close. It's just drifted past. Has it managed to wire red from the shot at black though?
I'm not sure. I don't know which side of the hoop that red slipped out on.
I think red was on the western side.
So it might be at least partially blocking it.
Possibly. We'll see.
It hills, though, this direction towards the west pretty aggressively. So,
Oh, it looks open. Looks open to me.
So yeah, he could have. Oh,
He missed.
missed a little wide there.
So that's a second consecutive miss from Mido on his clearances. So America not being forced to work for their win of hoop 2 and hoop 4. Not as easy a hoop as we have seen. So it is possible that black can fail this. I certainly don't think you should be clearing yellow. You need to be positive. You need to keep running these hoops. They were just checking as to whether blue's got a hampered backswing for hoop 5, I think. And I think it's fine. It can get there easily.
Yeah, I don't think there's any problem. And it's very, the doubles combination of Ben and Blake definitely has sort of two different approaches to the game. Blake being, much more hyper-aggressive, Ben being a lot more sort of traditional, conservative tactics. So it's been very interesting to see the dynamic between them and when one of them sort of gets the say over the other.
No.
But he stayed in front. He's blocking yellow.
Mohamed will take this on with a jump.
He had an amazing jump yesterday against Matthew to win that first game in their singles match.
Yeah.
9 from the boundary. Jump shots are the one shot I have not been able to hit this week with any level of consistency whatsoever.
So I wouldn't recommend anyone at home trying to jump them as Mohamed does unless you're really powerful. So he will take an almost natural stance and he'll sort of aim it with the mallet comparatively flat, and then he'll lean over it and just fractionally power it into the ground. Your super shot. 3-1 to Egypt. You need a lot of power to do that without moving your feet forward and clearly giving yourself the chance to hit it into the ground. He effectively just leans forward and powers it down.
It's sort of similar to how Blake does his jump shots, because of the mallet head speed he's able to generate.
Absolutely.
It's a shot that, I was talking to my teammates last night, and I was sort of saying the same thing I just said, where it's like, oh man, I just cannot get these medium-range jump shots to go the way I want them to. And they were encouraging me to, with the amount of power I'm able to generate, to work on getting a sort of flatter, skipping jump shot. I might actually switch back to standard grip to try to do those and make it sort of my normal swing, but... Can we get updates on the Matthew Kaled game, too, as it progresses, please? Yes, we're going to do our best to see what's going on over there.
Hey, rain now coming down heavily again.
You've seen the ceilings are too low in the house we're in, and I think that was by design. So there was no casualties this time around. So for those of you who might be wondering what that comment's referring to, I was doing a practice swing one night before the next day of a tournament because I was upset with how my swing had looked that day, and I broke a chandelier in the house I was staying in. So, but cut me up pretty good, but made it through.
Got the wrong ball.
Wrong one. It was a good swing, too, that broke that chandelier. It was crisp. would have center balled whatever I was looking at.
That's much better from Blake there, actually managing to run it to in front of hoop 6. I know it's 5 yards in front, but it's a good position as a clearing ball or a hoop runner. Now getting even heavier rain.
So I'd say it's starting to pour out there. Glad we're in here. Ooh, it curled just a little bit at the last second into that peg.
Yeah. So what are your takeaways from the event? You've obviously done very well yourself, and the team's done very well. I had a look at the forward calendar, and it appears at the moment the only expression of interest given to the WCF for the 2029 GC World Teams is from England.
That would be fun. I've only played in England the one time. I'm excited for the Solomon this summer.
Yeah.
To go to a new club. Budley, I believe. Is
Lovely club, Budley.
And hopefully, maybe get a chance to play a little tourist, although it's middle of the summer. Probably won't this time around. But so.
Certainly there is an impact because most of the players here, they're amateurs. They've got normal jobs or they're at university. Having to travel to the opposite side of the world out of season, it's difficult to get your perfect A game back in 3 or 4 days warm up beforehand. So those Northern Hemisphere teams will gain a little bit of advantage if we move it to England in 29. Blake's not just cleared the red, he's tried to cut it So yellow's in the way of clearing black. I think it's just open still on the southern side, but it's a long clearance. Mohamed is hoping to try and get something out of Mido. He's had a couple of misses so far. So time for a clearance.
We have Mr. Rush in the chat as well. Thank you, Jack. So Jack Rush, one of the croquet pros from back home, pro at Johns Island, one of our young up-and-coming players. So glad you're tuning in. What time is it in America? Probably about, 5 p.m.? It says on my phone. 5:30. All right, so good viewing time for all the folks back home. And another narrow miss, albeit from 15 yards. But
It's not just when you're missing and shooting all the time. It's the fact that the ball is now offside.
it is,
So
yeah.
it keeps going further and further away from the hoop. So yeah, Tom, what's been your takeaway? How are you going to remember this event other than simply winning? What's been your favourite experience in Tasmania?
I think this was I think for me, and all the Americans would say the same, the mental game in these sort of longer events and these tougher, higher competition events has definitely been the hardest thing. Just, walking onto the court with a very positive mindset, even when you're playing someone of a world champion caliber, and just saying, I'm the one to beat. I just need to play my game.
Yep.
And even when things aren't quite going your way, still being able to fight back and, make things work. I got off to a pretty rough start in doubles. The swing was just not there. I wasn't trusting it. And I've been working on some sports psychology recently, and I just sort of, reread and went back to some of that and just started trusting my swing again, and the results started to improve very quickly, very dramatically. So I think it's been sort of a good field test of these new things that I've been incorporating in my mental game, and I hope to take it further and start to see a big difference in these world tier events.
Good.
Going forward. So we'll see.
Yeah, no, it is often I'm saying the difference between how players play on that final turn, hoops 10, 11, 12, 13, is often the difference in these matches. Very regularly you get to 5-4, and then you really see who's got the game when you get to those last four hoops.
Yeah, I've actually had my singles performances have been my better ones. Doubles I've been up and down in, but in singles I've had 4 games now where I was 6-4 down and managed to win at the hook.
Absolutely great.
And which is not unusual for me. Normally there's a certain period where I'm like, I'm kind of lost it, and maybe my swings don't start to get so well. So just, finding that sort of nice shot, Ben, great shot. Finding that sort of that will to go on and I will not lose, and I will not go out like this. You're going to have to earn it, has been, I think, a big turning point for me.
Okay.
So hopefully I can, take that home with me and continue to build on it. Mike Huxley says it's been a huge pleasure to watch as we in the UK are still struggling to shrug off the winter. Yeah, I imagine it's a little colder up there than it is down here.
Well, we had 2 practice sessions. We had one at Hurlingham and one at Nottingham, and they were both absolutely cold and wet. So difficult to get the real sort of peak performance level when you're playing in 5 degrees and it's raining. But we came over at the right time. We gave ourselves 3 days and 3 practice matches, and the boys are gradually getting better. So it just hasn't happened quickly enough, and part of that is due to the standard of play of the opponents, who are simply much better now. We've got 4 teams that are better than England, and that isn't just a random event. These 4 teams have looked better really for the past year or 2. So we've got some work to do to get back to where we think we ought to be, but we've also got some promising players coming through, and hopefully more and more people giving GC a chance, playing both codes.
Yeah, that's the one thing that I would like to see more of in U.S. croquet is we have a lot of, I wouldn't say a lot, but we have a couple of younger, very athletic, talented players coming up, like Jack Rush, Darren Guffey, a couple others, but the
Sharp.
great shot by
Super.
Mohamed. Great shot.
He's keeping them in this game single-handedly, isn't he?
But the golf croquet has kind of become the main focus for most of them, and a couple of them are starting to make the transition into association.
Good.
And obviously, association's my favorite of the two games still.
Okay.
So I very much enjoy that, and I want there to be a larger depth of talent in AC so that we can start competing at like the McRobertson at the level we're competing here.
Correct. You're obviously clearly getting much better, but you've yet to come in the top 2 in the McRobertson, and I think a lot of people are expecting you to come in the top 2 in the very near future.
I think we can make a pretty good run at it. Kyle Maloof will be. He was not on our last McRobertson team. I would be highly surprised if he wasn't on this next one. And Kyle has become one of the toughest competitors in the country. My McRobertson was obviously horrific, but I learned a lot of lessons from it that I think have made me a different AC player now, and I would hope not to have a repeat.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things I've been saying to our team here is, it's been a fantastic experience for you. I watched you at the Mac, and one of the things...
Nice shot!
4-all. One of the things I was very impressed with, Tom, was despite the fact you played very poorly to start with, every day you were out there practicing, and you were saying, I'm going to be better the next day. Maybe not brilliant, but you were better. Every day you got a little bit better, and by the end of it, you were playing reasonably.
I was playing reasonably.
And next time we saw you, bronze medal at the World Championships.
Yep.
And you've built on that experience.
If you took the first two.
Okay, so we've now got an update on Croquet scores. You can see the recent games, but not all the results. So hopefully you can keep track of
Game 2.
the island.
I just got a jump shot to get a clearance. Is this?
No, I think that was just taking boundary position.
But Matthew has taken the first hoop in Game 2 of their singles match. He won the first game 7-3, so their match is the second game is just getting underway. Aeneas Adelphus asks, Chris and Tom, what do you think about the Spanish team? I have been extremely impressed by the performance of the Spanish team. I know that they weren't able to send the just on paper the exact squad that they wanted. Just I've been informed due to the way holiday time in Spain works, but the team that they have sent have fought hard every single match they played. We played them the first test of the week, and there were some matches where we were like we were gritting our teeth a little bit, wondering how they would turn out. Nico Denizo went to 3 games against Matthew Essick, and went to the hook in Game 3.
The last hoop.
Yeah, that was hoop 13. No.
No. That's the corner hoop. They're at hoop 9. So, and they've just Juan Ojeda has played really good croquet the entire week. They've had some tense matches. I know he gave Reg a really good match in their test. So I've just been personally very impressed by the consistent performance and the resilience of the Spanish team. And they're also just great people. I mean, we've really enjoyed getting to know them better. And I have not had the opportunity to go play in Spain yet. Just meeting them has made me really, really want to go play in Spain even more now. But I think they've done great. I think they've gotten a little unlucky at times, and obviously it's a very competitive field, so it's hard to win. All right. He did not make the... Oh.
No, that's bounced off.
Okay, yeah.
So just a reminder, it's 4-all.
Blake's cranium. Did he make it?
No, this is clearing blue to corner 1, hopefully.
He did not make it. He didn't make that hoop.
No, it's 4-all. We're on hoop 9.
Oh, yeah, sorry. We forgot to update the score.
Hit the wrong part of that. So, much shorter shot from Blake. Yeah. I agree with you. The first 2 to 3 days, I thought the Spaniards played very well for their level. I think they dropped off a little bit on days 4 and 5 and 6. So a lot of pressure today for them, going in 3-2 down, needing 3 out of the 4 singles.
The Irish are also just another really tough team to play. I believe their test against England, they played very competitively.
Absolutely, yeah.
Did he get the hoop off of that?
It looks like it.
Okay, he must have the way there.
I was trying to get an update on that other relegation battle. It's close.
I wonder if we've got any sort of replay available of that shot.
Well, we weren't on the right camera. Oh, they're going down. Yeah, they're going down to hoop 10.
So he's
So he
cleared
did get it.
and blue.
5-4 to the Americans off of an in-off.
Wow.
Very
Well,
good shot. The
that's
spin on that
massive.
thing must have been incredible. Look, we're blowing it up.
Yeah, the first time they've been ahead in this game.
This is the Ireland Spain.
Right, so Ireland, Spain right now is in some very tense matchups. Ireland's a game up, but Spain is ahead in that game, second game 5-3, and then Spain is a game up in this other match, and they're 5-5.
Correct.
So
Yeah.
Spain actually looking pretty good right now. And the rain has started again. You can see it there on the camera. So the Americans will be a little bit more used to rainy conditions maybe than the Egyptians are.
They will. I mean,
So we were pretty happy to see the forecast that we did.
Yeah.
A lot of us teach and play during the winter in Florida, and it rains on us almost daily.
Yeah, we were New Zealand team were very lucky in 16 that the final was played in cold and damp
Great shot.
conditions. That's a super shot.
And I think he got the wire.
Yeah, yeah.
It almost looks like snow on the camera.
So I think they're going to be forced to play in here. I don't think they've got any other shot. Try and block Black's hoop shot. Yeah, they've got no shot at Black whatsoever. Always difficult judging the pace when it's raining. How much is it slowing down? That's close.
That's a good shot. That might have gotten it.
Ben's walking up to it as if it's well open.
Ben's also a very confident jump shot player, so even if Red did block, I suspect he wouldn't hesitate. But he is lining up his normal approach, so it must be open. Nice hoop.
We're on the brink. 6-4, one more hoop.
They've somehow managed to outpace Matthew so far.
It is absolutely pelting down now. I think Mohamed's going, are we carrying on or are we going inside? I don't blame him. It's a perfectly reasonable question to ask. At what stage do you think it's reasonable to stop?
For us, standing water on the court.
Yeah, I've seen certainly people go in when it's been this heavy. Blake's taking on the hoop here, I think. You think he wants to win.
Almost.
No, took the yellow.
Almost.
Good shot.
There's a 95% chance he was playing for the in-off there, knowing Blake. I know him well enough. He wants that final shot.
Yeah. Quite angled.
Fair warning in advance. I might have to jump out of this booth when we win and go.
That's fair, Tom. Very, very good performance. This has been America, all four players being really good.
Yeah.
I did enjoy that Matthew v Mohamed match yesterday.
Oh my goodness.
I'd pay to watch that sort of level of performance. It is really good.
Matthew gave a great reminder as to why he is world champion and the type of competitive spirit that he has, because he was down even in that game too.
Yeah.
And I mean, he made some hoop shots that I don't think I could have made given those pressure situations, but Mohamed is waving.
I say there has been a bit of niggle between the two teams, and I think that's why Mohamed's getting Ben completely out of the range, and he's underhit that. It's uphill, slowing lawn.
Blake with one more needed clearance here on Red. And he's hit the wrong one.
The wrong one.
It won't be critical because I don't think Red runs the hoop.
I think Red will stop Black away.
Yeah. Blake is only on the back line, so well within his clearing range.
It's the hoop. You got to play a good shot to get this past the peg.
Thank you, Luis. Luis Alvarez Sala from Spain. So
this is pretty much to stay in the World Team Championship.
he's been running these angled hoops very well, though, all week. It's one of the things that that I couldn't afford him to get in our singles match because he was just so spot on with these. Like
Good
that.
shot. That's a really good shot. Blue hasn't got the best of lines to get down to hoop 12.
No. There is some curve on this court. I think if he plays it just slightly east, it'll sort of trickle into a good position.
Yeah.
But
That's more difficult for the black, though, because the black looks like it's going to have to go west of hoop 6. So, and black's going to be the first one to play. I'm not even sure whether he's going to go left or right of hoop 6 here.
he's going to go west of it.
So the hill's going to be bad for him here, isn't it?
Yeah, with the rain, I would hope that the hilling is, yeah, you see it there, it just sort of takes off.
And he's deliberately played short to give himself a hoop shot. So that's a pretty good shot. Mohamed needs to play in blocking black now. Needs to keep running. No. Not quite. I'd be disappointed with that. Blake's got the easier approach. And this should just drift in front. Not bad.
Yeah, it stopped a little short of where he probably wanted it, but with a good stop shot, Ben might be tempted to go for the hoop here. They both want the final hoop shot. But we'll see if good tactics prevail.
Nicholas won.
So Nicholas Denizo wins 7-5 to win their match, and I think that equalizes the test if I know the numbers.
Yep, 3-all.
So this other match over here, Spain is a game down but 6-3 up. Juan Olleta.
That's Mark Stevens and Juan. Yep.
So Juan, like I said earlier, has been playing incredible croquet.
Just went 7-3.
Where? Like, oh, so Juan did win that game. Okay, yes, so they just didn't update the scoreboard. So, that's good. Great clearance. So Juan is now a game apiece in the Spain-Ireland match, and that is the relegation match to stay in the Tier 1 event next time around in 4 years. So a lot of pressure on that match for both teams.
You don't have to shoot at yellow here, do you?
No,
it's not a compulsory shot.
If you lay in a set, they want an update on Matthew's game. Someone will be able to get an update on the score in Matthew's match momentarily. Sarah, Matthew's sister. Thank you for tuning in.
That's not in front, so that's almost a wasted shot. So Mohamed will take the hoop on.
I can.
No.
Left-hand wire.
Outside. Oh, for the World Championship, the World Champion takes the shot. How appropriate.
I'm going to scoot my chair back just in case. Matthew's up 4-1 in game 2. All right. For all the marbles.
See you later.
American
Yes!
World Champions.
Let's go!
Off you go, Tom. Enjoy
Off
it.
I go.
Well played.
Well, there we go. Congratulations, United States.
What a 4 months for Blake Fields, individual world golf croquet champion, and now running the winning hoop to win 7-0. Congratulations to the American team. Very strong performance by all of them. And they're thoroughly enjoying themselves, and they're every right to. 7-0 was the final score in the 5th game of the World Final. Blake between Robbie, and 7-0 is the score when America win the World Team Championship against a good performance by the Egyptian team. So congratulations to both those sides. It's been great watching.
Yes, congratulations, world champions, the Americans, and they've done it in dominating display there in the final.
Absolutely. So I think now we're going to move over to the relegation match. We've just updated you that it's 3-all. Nicholas Denizo winning his singles match. So we've got 3 singles in progress. Or the third one will be going on shortly.
I'm back.
We've got game all on that lawn 7.
Well done.
I think that's
well done,
Mark
buddy.
Stevens.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
My goodness.
How's it feel?
Surreal. It hasn't sunk in yet. The first ever American win at a world team event. 7-0 in matches.
I've been fortunate I was involved in the first ever time that America played in a World Team Championship in 1993 at Rich River. And from that stage, I've played lots of Solomon Trophies, lots of McRobertson Shields. I've seen America come last and sing the national anthem as the penalty.
I remember singing it.
And it's wonderful to see in such a comparatively short period of 30 years that you've now come through and been worthy world champions. So many congratulations to not just the team, but everyone in America who's been involved with that transition over the last 30 years. You've had to earn it the hard way, and it's thoroughly deserved. So I'm going to now give way, and I say we're going to cover the other two matches.
These guys haven't started the last game in the Spain. So what we might do is we might bring up a new stream for this, give them their own stream.
Okay, so we'll have a 5-minute break.
Relegation. We'll be back with the relegation clashes very soon. Again, well done to the United States.
Thank you, everybody at home, for watching with us, and thank you for all of your support, and we'll see you next time.
World champions, well done. Hooroo. Thank you for watching, everybody. We'll be back in, like I said, we'll be back in 5 minutes, and I'll give these guys the Spain Island clash, a whole new stream, so everyone can see it quite easily. All right, until then, ta-da, bye-bye.